While her relationship was quietly falling apart, my female friend suddenly started spending almost every day with me. Then one night, after too much wine, she admitted something I never expected to hear. She wasn't attracted to her boyfriend anymore, and she wished she'd met me before him. I'd known Lenora for 6 years. She was engaged to a guy named Reed. I'd only met him a handful of times because he wasn't exactly comfortable with her having male friends. I knew that because she mentioned it once, laughed it off, and never brought it up again. Lenora and I worked at the same architecture firm. Every Tuesday we'd grab lunch together. We even knew each other's coffee orders by heart. That was the extent of our friendship for 6 years. Then August arrived. She started staying late at work. Soon she'd ask if I wanted dinner after. Then it became an every night thing. Almost every evening around 6 she'd text and ask what I was doing. The answer was always nothing. I lived alone and most nights were just a microwave dinner and a podcast. She'd reply, "Perfect, meet me at the place on Vine." By then, Reed had stopped showing up to company events. Her engagement ring had disappeared from her finger and was hanging around her neck instead. She'd lost weight. Sometimes she'd laugh too hard at things that weren't funny, and other times she'd go completely silent when something actually was. Something was wrong. Then, one rainy Saturday in September, she texted me around 4 in the afternoon and asked if I had any wine. I said yes. 40 minutes later, she was standing at my door, hair soaked from the rain, no umbrella, and carrying a duffel bag. My mistake was not asking about the bag. We sat on my couch and finished one bottle of wine, then another. At some point, her shoes came off, and her feet ended up tucked beneath my leg. I remember thinking one thing very clearly: don't move. Because I'd been in love with Lenora for 6 years. I had carefully built an entire friendship around the fact that I was never going to act on those feelings. She was engaged, she was happy, and she was my friend, in that order. So I stayed perfectly still, poured her another glass, and finally asked what was happening with Reed. She broke down. Not dramatic movie tears, the kind that come after months of holding everything inside. She told me they hadn't been intimate since February. She said he'd stopped touching her completely, that he sat across from her at dinner staring at his phone, answering her with one-word replies, that she felt invisible inside her own home. I asked if she still loved him. She said she honestly didn't know. I asked if she was leaving him. She nodded toward the duffel bag sitting in my hallway. That was my answer. She told me she'd ended things that morning. Reed had simply nodded, walked into his office, and shut the door, and somehow she said that hurt more than a fight, because he didn't even try. She poured the last of the wine into her glass, mascara gone, eyes red. Then she looked at me and said, "I'm not attracted to him anymore. I don't think I have been for a long time, and sometimes I think I wish I'd met you first." I froze. I didn't say a word. She kept talking. She admitted that for 6 years she'd convinced herself I was only a friend. She'd repeated it so often she almost believed it. But during the last 9 months, while her engagement slowly died, she'd thought about me every single day. That's why she stayed late at work. That's why she kept showing up. Then she said she should leave and started searching for her shoes. I stopped her. I told her we were both drunk. I told her nothing said tonight should be treated as a life-changing decision in the morning. She could sleep in my bed, and I'd take the couch. That made her cry again. She said that was exactly the reason she wished she'd met me first. I made up the bed, brought her water and ibuprofen for the morning, and slept on the couch fully dressed. The next morning, I made coffee. She walked out of the bedroom wearing yesterday's clothes, hair a mess, looking almost nervous, like she expected me to make things awkward. Instead, I handed her a cup of coffee. I told her I meant what I'd said. Nothing from the night before had to count. She'd just ended a 6-year relationship. She didn't owe me feelings she hadn't had time to understand. Then I told her this: if 6 months from now you still feel the same way, tell me again. Sober. Then we'll talk. She finished her coffee and went to stay with her parents. For the next week, she cried. I didn't text her. 4 months later, she texted me. Is that offer to talk still open? We had dinner that Friday, and right now, she's sitting next to me on the couch, writing a completely different email.